All right. Welcome, everyone, to our really exciting program for the evening, featuring my good friend, Frank Kwiatkowski. Frank, how are you doing today?
I am doing excellent. It's great to see you, Christiana. Thanks for having
Oh
me
my
on.
gosh. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. We have just been playing with the technology that allows us to have interviews in this new configuration. You're only the second person I've had on. I have a list of people I will be bringing on, but I am so excited to have you right now. So welcome to everyone who's joining us. We are live in a lot of different places, and I see a lot of people coming in. Thank you, everyone. And you know, it turns out Frank is a member of the village. Frank is literally a member of the YouTube channel, even though we don't see him here a lot. So I do want to say a huge thank you to Terry Rosario. Thanks for being a member. And Terry has started us out with 2 super chats, a cup of coffee for me and a cup of coffee for you. So we're going to get together to do that real soon. Thank you so much for that, Terry. And here comes Stacy. So I know you cannot see the chat, so I'm going to feed some of the chat to you, including Stacy Sorrow. So good to see you, Stacy. Thanks for being a member. Who says Frank is awesome?
Oh, thank you, Stacy. You're awesome too.
And we know that. Dream it possible. So great to see you on Twitch. We will be doing some readings later on, but first we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to get to know Frank, and we're going to talk about, I love this. Getting started, Terry said, what I want to quote her exactly. Terry said, excited for this evening's tunes and tarot. These are a few of my favorite things. And I think that's something you and I bonded on when we first met at StaarCon 10 years ago, where you clocked me as a deadhead right away. And you yourself are a fan of the Grateful Dead. Is that not true?
That is true. I do like the Grateful Dead, but I cannot possibly touch your fandom when it comes to the Grateful Dead, I must admit. But I'm glad I got to see them a couple times before Jerry, rest in peace, before they disbanded. But Christiana, I know you've been to a couple of Dead shows back in the day.
Just one or two. One or two. One or two. And also I've seen Dead and Company a few times, though not as many times as I would like, and did not go to Sphere. I'm into Sphere to begin with, so I would have really liked that combination, but that did not happen for the obvious reasons that those things don't happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure you saw the videos that were circulating. The graphics that they had were just mind-blowing. And I think Fish, not to drift into another band, but I think Fish did shows there as well, didn't they? Or am I mistaken? Because I think they had some mind-blowing stuff as well.
Don't know, but if they don't, they should. What's your take on Fish? Go ahead.
I'm pro Fish. Yeah,
I'm pro Fish. Do you want to hear I have 2 really quick, funny Fish stories, and then we'll do your official introduction, because that's how we're rolling here today. You want to hear 2 funny Fish stories?
Absolutely.
Okay. On tour with... Not on tour with the Grateful Dead. No, on tour with the Deadheads with the Grateful Dead, you know, like who are the Grateful Dead and why do they keep following me everywhere I go? I'm in this old car that we had, the group that I was traveling with, we were hitchhiking together. And we bought a car from someone who picked all of us up, kept us for 2 days, let us take showers, and sold us a car for $400. So we were in that car, right? I mean, these are the magical stories of tour in the 80s. We were in that car, and someone pops a tape in and says, this is this band out of like the University of Vermont. They're called Fish, spelled P-H, and they're Deadheads, and they're really cool. So that was the first thing. Then I saw them at Toad's Place in New Haven, which is this like iconic venue, small venue, big acts, right? So I saw them in a venue where there were probably 100 of us with this band when they were first coming out, and I was blown away, but I've never been to another Fish show.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. There's only really room in my heart for one jam band. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. So by comparison, how many times did you see the Grateful Dead, might I ask? Do you
Well, they're
know?
seeing, no, I have no idea, and I didn't save ticket stubs.
Hmm.
There's seeing the Grateful Dead. There's being outside the stadium because I really didn't feel like going in, but I can still hear them.
Hmm.
There's seeing Dead adjacent bands. I mean, there's a lot, but I mean, it's got to be up toward 100.
Wow.
It was my life for a while.
Yeah.
And how I learned to read tarot. So
it ties into this, and I know that there's a certain tarot deck, a certain Grateful Dead themed tarot deck that is near and dear to your heart. Wow, there it is.
yeah, this is the first edition. There is a second edition. It is not so big and beautiful, and it's not so expensive. But yeah, this is the original. This is the original one, which of course IT John got for me as soon as it came out, because that's the kind of guy he is.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. It really is. It really, really is. Just checking in with some comments and who's here. So nice to see everyone. Marian Kirk is with us. So good to see you, Marian. I expect to see you in Frank's seat pretty soon. Barbie Bird. Okay. So we use a term deuterang. A deuterang is the guy that goes away and keeps coming back and you can't make him go away. Right? The deuterang. And when the deuterang comes back during Mercury retrograde, you shouldn't catch him. Right? So here it is from Barbie Bird. Barbie, thanks for being a member. My ex-deuterang Dave follows fish around, and I was thinking him earlier today pretty intensely. I guess we know what I'm asking about today. Well, Frank and I will be happy to talk about the deuterang with you. So before we go any further, Sprite PNG is showing us dead bears on Twitch. Thank you. Okay, before we go any further, because there's so much we want to talk about, let's do the official introduction for people who don't know you. I speak of you as an author, a coach, and a tarot reader, but tell us, who is, in this world, Frank Kwiatkowski?
I love tarot. Thank you, Christiana, again, for having me here, and welcome, villagers. I'm just delighted to be in this sphere, joining all of you today. Yeah, I'm a tarot aficionado. I have to admit, I came to this thing late. I didn't even pick up my first tarot deck until right around exactly my 40th birthday. Wow. And it completely changed my life. And I just completely drank the Kool-Aid, 100%, considering I was never into it before then. I wasn't into new agey stuff, but I had kind of an early onset midlife crisis, and I was ready for something new. I was kind of seeking and searching for something, and somebody recommended tarot to me. And even though I was like, I don't think I'm into that stuff, but something dawned on me where I just became very interested in it very suddenly. It was like a lightning bolt striking or something, where all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this was something that was interesting to me. So I started to investigate it. I started to use it, reading tarot for myself, and it completely blew me away. It completely changed my life. So, and this was back in 2013. So I guess I'm aging myself there, but since then, I gave up my old job. I used to work as a mail carrier back in those days, and I followed the path. I got certified as a professional life coach. I started doing readings professionally for people, and so that's what I do now. I do tarot readings. I infuse life coaching principles into it. I do some writing as well. I've written a book. I'm working on a second one. I keep a blog, a Beatles tarot themed blog, which I suspect that's one of the reasons I'm here today to talk about this very thing. And I do some workshops too. I like to do group tarot themed workshops and classes.
Which you've been doing some great stuff with Elise in Lake Worth recently.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Elise Crone, a friend of mine, she has an incredible creative arts studio in Lake Worth, Florida. It's called Juicy Creatives. It's a fabulous, magical place. And she does all kinds of really cool stuff there. and she's been having me there, and we've been doing some tarot programs there.
Yeah, I would really like to get to one. It looks so great. So if you're local to South Florida, Lake Worth, always a fun place to go anyway. Check out that. How can people find out about it?
I believe the website is simply juicycreatives.com, and
Perfect.
she has an events page on there. You can check out past events if you're curious, okay, what's this place all about? You can look at past events and see all the kind of stuff that she's done, as well as upcoming events. We don't currently have the next tarot event scheduled, but we'll be scheduling something in the next few weeks.
Okay, got it. Okay. So, I'm sorry, I'm being distracted. We got so much going on here. Linda Rogers, so good to see you over on Instagram. Glad you're here. You joined us right on time. You're good. And Linda says you're very accomplished, which we know, and wants to know, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but wants to know how old you are now.
I don't mind answering. I'm 52 and a half.
Wow, you are so well preserved.
Clean living, my friend. Clean living and tarot. It's very good for your health.
Right. Medium That Rocks comes in and says Frank's such a high vibe person, which is a fact. And you're also the author of this book, Rise and Shine, A Guide for Experiencing Your Midlife Awakening by Frank Kwiatkowski. This is a fabulous book. There is no tarot in it. There is psychology. We should mention you have a degree in psychology. Isn't that true?
I do.
Yeah.
It's a bachelor's degree from SUNY Buffalo. For
Nice.
those of you from New York or familiar, it's a state school up in New York. Yeah, I graduated with psychology, but frankly, I've learned a lot more about psychology from tarot than I did in college, if I'm being honest. Not to mention just life. Life teaches you about psychology more than anything. But that's one of my favorite things about tarot. Really, is I approach it from what I would describe as a Jungian perspective, and it just unlocks the unconscious, the principles of synchronicity. All the Jungian things are all represented in a tarot practice.
No, that totally makes sense. Linda says you look more like 42. Looking
Thank
fabulous, and tarot becomes you. Yes, it does. Now, okay, the reason you have not seen the Grateful Dead as much as I did is because you are primarily, like, for a while, we knew you as the Beatles guy. And there you are in your Beatles t-shirt to prove it. How many Beatles t-shirts do you own?
A lot, but probably, I mean, I don't know what is a lot. I would say probably 15, maybe 20, maybe 20 if you include solo Beatles. I've got a Wings shirt or two. I've got, a few John Lennon shirts. But these always make great gifts. If anybody is looking, Christmas is right around the corner. If anybody's looking for a gift idea.
Perfect. I love it. All right. So Marion Kirk, Frank's one of the very few people who is allowed to tell me what to do, and I'll actually listen.
What? Wow. Marion, I did not think anybody could tell you what to do, but I will certainly take that as a compliment, my friend.
So AM lets us know that her daughter, or their daughter, I actually don't know gender, their daughter went to SUNY Albany, and Stacy said SUNY with big exclamation points. So there you go. All right. Now, and if people want to see your blog, book a reading with you, whatever, what's the website?
My website is tarotawakenings.com.
Easy enough. All right. We will do some readings, but first, when we talk about music and tarot, there are so many ways that music and tarot intersect. And, at Mary Ellen Collins' going away party, sad, we'll miss her. We'll still see her. We sort of introduced you to someone you didn't know as like this guy that we always associate with music and tarot together. And that sort of like becomes part of your persona. How does that feel?
It feels like a lot of pressure, Christiana. I don't know if I can live up to it. No, it feels really good. It feels like an honor. I love music. I am known kind of as a Beatles guy. I've read many, many books. I consider myself almost like just a real aficionado and almost like an amateur historian, if you will, of the Beatles, just because I can't get enough of reading about them. But I don't want to pigeonhole myself into just one band, as great as they are. I like lots of kinds of bands, Grateful Dead, of course, being one example, and many others, mostly classic rock. But then there's the stuff from my generation, too. I grew up as an 80s metalhead. So, for any of you who are approximately my age, yes, I am very informed by 80s metal. And then, of course, there was grunge. And I've even liked some of the bands over the last several years as well. But I'm definitely informed more by the Beatles, classic rock, and 80s metal, to be honest with you.
So I want to come back to 80s metal in a minute because I'm an 80s girl for sure. But I would love everyone in the village, wherever you are, type in one of your favorite musical acts. I know we all have more than one, but type in one of your favorites. I would love to know. I would love to know. So this is fun. TJ and GA says, I almost never listen to music, but yet I often get lyrics as messages through tarot.
Interesting.
And yeah, I love that. I love that so much. It happens to me too. Do you get lyrics when you're doing readings? Do you get lyrics to give to people?
No, it's funny because I think there are essentially two different types of music listeners. There are those who hear more of the music and there are those who hear more of the lyrics. Now, of course, we hear both. Don't get me wrong. But I hear the music 90% and the lyrics 10%. I have to admit. I mean, there are songs at our Rock and Roll Tarot Lounge, which I've been doing monthly at the StaarCon AfterGlow, right?
Yes, yes.
So we've been listening to songs and then corresponding them to tarot cards. And what's amazing is as we listen to the songs, I will share a video that includes the lyrics so people can follow along with the words. And it happens every single week, multiple times. There'll be a song that we've all heard many times because I tend to play pretty popular songs. And we'll be like, really? Those were the words? I've been hearing this thing wrong for like 20 years. It happens every time.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And I really am a lyrics person. Like, I like the music. And that's how Taylor Swift got me. I became a Swiftie in the past 2 years, which was the last thing I thought was going to happen to me. But it happened. And you'd be surprised the number of deadhead Swifties that exist in the world.
I would not have guessed that. So it begs the question, what got you into Taylor Swift? I mean, she's huge. She's great.
She's huge. I didn't hate her. I never hated her. I was not a Swift hater. But, Taylor Swift and the Grateful Dead have a few things in common. And one is that you can't really understand them by listening to their hits. Like Taylor Swift is blank space, Shake It Off, sure, but she's also Marjorie and Cardigan and like these deep, deep cuts, just like the Grateful Dead is not Trucking. The Grateful Dead is Cassidy and the other one and all of this great deep stuff. So
playing in the band.
Oh gosh, yes.
Bertha, and I hear you.
Exactly. So it was scrolling TikTok when the Eras Tour was announced, and I found out that it was a 3.5-hour show. Who else used to do 3.5-hour shows, may I ask you? The Grateful Dead. So that was what got me in right away. I was like, oh, she's hardworking. I like a person with a work ethic. Yeah. And I'm working on this whole Venn diagram of how Taylor Swift and the Grateful Dead are similar. So there's that.
Are you really doing that? Because I would love to see that. I would
I
really
really
love
am
to see
doing that. Yeah, I really am
Okay.
doing that. Yes,
Huh.
yes, yes. Okay. So let me. Oh my gosh. So Tara Widower, who by the way is IT John, isn't that a great name for my husband to have? Tara Widower
Indeed.
is communicating with Sprite PNG on Twix because Sprite PNG, of course, has the Dead Bears, which I love, but favorite band Frank Zappa.
Ooh.
And and Tara Widower, of course, huge Frank Zappa fan. Turns out he and I were at the same Zappa show one year, never met. But like when we compared notes once we started going out, we had been at many of the same concerts. Fun, right?
That is very cool. Frank Zappa, that must be a wild show. It must be an unpredictable show because he went through, it's almost like every album was a different era. I could just imagine that you don't know what you're going to get with a Zappa show, but you know it's going to be a heck of a head trip.
Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. So let me share some of the favorite bands in the Village. This is the music the Village listens to. Tori Amos, Billy Joel, Susan Tedeschi. Yeah, we love Tedeschi trucks for sure. Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, Def Leppard. Def Leppard would be my favorite 80s metal band. How do you feel about Def Leppard?
I loved Def Leppard's second and third albums. High and Dry and Pyromania were just like all-time favorites for me. They were huge for me, especially Pyromania, because that's right when I was getting into music, like 83. I was at that ripe age where I was just discovering music, and then Pyromania fell into my lap, and that was really huge for me. And then they had that tragedy with the drummer, Rick Allen, and they kind of went away for 4 years. Nowadays, bands go away for 3-4 years all the time. But back then, bands would try to release an album every year or two. So for a band to disappear for 4 years was like a lifetime. And they came back and they sounded completely different. And Hysteria was the album. I think it came out in 87. It sold 1 billion copies. I mean, it was hugely popular. But it was a little pop for me. It was a good album. It was a huge album. It was a little pop for me.
So what did you, okay, another one of my favorites is Jethro Tull. I love Jethro Tull. I named my son Ian after Ian Anderson.
Oh, wow.
What did you think back in the 80s when Jethro Tull's Crest of a Knave won the Grammy for Best Metal Album? Do you remember that?
I do. It's notorious. And all due respect to the Tull, one of my college buddies was the biggest Jethro Tull fan ever. Like, you would go to his dorm room, and other than the smoke, you would have to get through the smoke, and then he would have a Jethro Tull album on literally every single time. He would not shut up about Jethro Tull. So, but I respect Jethro Tull. It's not my number one thing, but I have a lot of respect for him. But they're not metal. And I think that the Grammys had just established this new category called heavy metal, and I don't think they knew what to do with it. They didn't understand it because Jethro Tull beat Metallica for the best Grammy, and maybe Jethro Tull should have won a Grammy at some point leading up to then, but I don't know about best metal Grammy. Yeah. That seems a little weird.
It was a little weird. Great album, though. Great album. Mark Knopfler played on that album from Dire Straits. It was pretty great. But again, not metal. Hello. Okay, more for the list. Santana, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Ella Fitzgerald, Cream, Journey, Eagles, Aretha, Aerosmith, Pat Benatar, Rusted Root. Nice. Ocean Color Scheme. There's one I don't know. Ed Sheeran, Teddy Swims. Yeah, love both of them. And Kool and the Gang. Gotta love it. Hiatus Coyote. I do not know them. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Pink Floyd, Divinals, Bruce Springsteen. So we really run the gamut. I would like to, go ahead.
I just wanted to jump in real quick and mention, because you were talking about how Taylor Swift and Grateful Dead, one of the things that they have in common is the best songs are the deep cuts. And what was going off in my mind is a couple of my favorite bands of all time. Pink Floyd is certainly one of them for me. I'm just a huge Floyd head, and I'm a huge fan of the Doors as well. Talk about these classic rock bands. But if you know these bands just from the hits, I mean, Pink Floyd is a lot more than Comfortably Numb and Another Brick in the Wall. Once you start exploring the back catalog is when you really start digging Pink Floyd. I would say the same about the Doors too. They're a lot more than Light My Fire and Love Her Madly. Like the deeper cuts is where you get the really good stuff.
Okay. Oh, the Gap Band and Medium That Rocks wants me to do the Taylor Swift and Dead comparison as a class or a newsletter topic. So we'll see what we can do. I was going to do it as a series of TikToks, but maybe it'll have to be everywhere. So we could talk about this forever. Oh, Baby Cakes likes Pink Floyd. Cool. Laughing Cat, Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. You know it. Careful with that axe, Eugene. Yeah. All right.
Pink Floyd was very, very weird before Dark Side of the Moon. That Sid Barrett album, and then he literally went crazy, which is a really tragic story, a fascinating story. He leaves the band, and they're in the wilderness, Saucer Full of Secrets, Uma Guma, Adam Hart Mother. These albums
I loved Adam Hart Mother.
These albums are super weird, and they're
great.
They're really interesting. They're really cool. Yeah.
Agreed. All right. I would like to now move the conversation to what we were talking about with this, tarot decks that are based on music. And I would argue that breaks into a couple of different categories. One is licensed. This is licensed by the Grateful Dead. This was a legal licensed deck. There are also band decks that are not licensed, that are really indie, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. There are 2 Taylor Swift tarot decks that she did not authorize. And I'm like, do I do it? Do I not do it? I mean, she's got plenty of money. She doesn't need my $30. But still, I have questions about it. So there's band decks that are authorized. There's band decks that are unauthorized. And then there are decks that celebrate music and talk about music, but not just one specific band. Those are the categories that I've got. What do you think about the categories? If we were to quantify tarot, music-based tarot decks, do you think those categories work?
That sounds about right. There are band decks, either authorized or unauthorized. And frankly, I didn't even know there were authorized tarot decks. I didn't realize that the Grateful Dead was an authorized deck. I think that's really cool. I have a couple of tarot decks that I am happy to share with you today that are unauthorized. We'll get to that. But then I think there's a whole nother subcategory that we're getting into now, which is AI music themed decks versus non-AI themed tarot decks, which that's a whole Pandora's box that we're just starting to get into right now. I had come across my my social media algorithm a rock and roll tarot deck, and I looked at it and I thought it was pretty cool, but it was an AI deck, and I wasn't sure how I felt about that. And I'm dipping my toes very slowly into that world. So I didn't get it. But I think it's an interesting topic, and it's definitely something we'll be seeing a lot more of going forward.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I have an opinion.
Yeah.
I don't like AI tarot decks. I use AI. I think we're all going to use AI. But using AI to create a tarot deck that you then go and sell, I don't love the way that feels, and I can't even explain it, but I don't love it. And maybe I'll change my mind later, but I don't love it.
I hear you. I'm slow to get on board there. I mean, who knows? In another 10 years from now, we might be thinking this is such an antiquated issue. But for now, I'm not ready to just jump in and be cool with it. I love art. I love tarot artists. maybe because I have such little artistic talent myself, that I have so much respect for those who do. And so, sure, I could get onto an AI program and type in some keywords and come up with an amazing deck, but that feels cheap to me. And I would much rather the artist create the tarot deck.
I would like to hire an artist to do it. Thank you very much. And Stacy says, it's like you're stealing someone's art and selling it as your own with an AI deck, in my opinion. Yeah. It feels that way. So show us your decks. Show us your decks.
Okay, so we saw your Grateful Dead tarot. We also saw that you had this one. I have it as well, Rhythm and Soul Tarot. If any of the people in the village are looking for a music-themed deck, this one is awesome because the artwork is exceptional. The structure, I mean, everything about this. Rhythm and soul, it's got a lot of soul in it. Check this one out. I love it.
And I'm in it. I'm the 8 of Swords.
Oh, yeah, you're the 8 of Swords. I forgot about that. Yeah, amazing. But I have a couple of band themed tarot decks that were, I'm quite sure these are unauthorized, but they are pretty great, in my opinion. One of them is going to come as, one of them I got for a birthday present this past year, back in March. I didn't even know this tarot deck existed. And my sister, who lives in Minnesota, was visiting me down here in Florida. And she sprung it on me. And it was just, it's one of my favorite birthday gifts I've gotten in a very long time. When I opened it up, I was just shocked that it even existed. And it is this one here.
Oh, the Dylan Tarot. Oh my gosh.
It is from a independent tarot producer called Welkin. And I would absolutely recommend going to the Welkin site because he's got probably about 12 to 15 tarot decks. They are big. They are beautiful. They're not AI. And the books that he's created are just exceptional. And he correlates each card to a different song, or in this case, 2 songs by Bob Dylan correlate to each of the cards, which is very consistent. Which is very consistent with what I'm doing with my Beatles song tarot project on my website. Is I correlate a different Beatles song to a different tarot card, and that's very much what he does, and he infuses it into the deck itself. It's really cool.
So there are people, Medium That Rocks, who is Kimmy, would love to see a card. You may have to do readings with that deck for us. Just saying. What else you got?
Happy to do it. Absolutely. The other one I got probably about 5 or 6 years ago. It was a Christmas present. Once again, I had never heard of this tarot deck either. I just opened it up as a present and I was like, what? How have I never heard of this? How is this possible that I've never seen this? And it was this one.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So what do you think about the Beatles tarot deck as compared to your own study of how the music and the cards align?
Sometimes you can know a little bit too much about a subject. Okay, I'm joking though. This is from the same company. It's from Welkin, and I wanted to give credit to the artist himself. Welkin is the company. The artist is Chris Leach. He created both the Dylan and the Beatles tarot. They are a very similar style. I'll share some cards in just a moment here, but the cards are on a really nice stock. They're big, they're bold, they're beautiful. The deck, the guidebooks are thick, very well researched, very well written, exceptional. What can I say? The only problem I have with the Beatles is that I wouldn't necessarily agree with all of the cards that he chose for all of the songs. And that's going to happen. I mean, any of us who are super into a band, you're just going to have disagreements. And in particular, in the case of the Beatles tarot, the artist chose a different beetle to represent each of the suits, which I think that's a great idea. You may recall at StaarCon, the second one, the first one in person, I did a Beatles presentation and I presented the 4 Beatles as 4 elements. And once again, he disagrees with the ones that I picked. So I love his idea. I love his presentation. I just happen to disagree with how he picked it.
Just tell me that for you, Ringo is Earth.
Yes. Yes, Ringo is most certainly Earth. And for the artist of this tarot deck, he has Ringo as fire. And I just can't get around that. I just don't see Ringo as fire. But it's still a beautiful deck. It's a treasured part of my collection. I love to look through it. I love to read the book. But for reasons like that, I don't actually read with it.
You know, I don't read with any of these music decks.
How come?
I mean, professionally, I don't read with them because one of my client doesn't like that particular band.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy, says something really smart here. There are also decks that are not official or unofficial merch music decks, just decks that remind you of a song or band. And I think that's true with decks and cards. And as we were saying, you know, lyrics might come into your mind. Music might come into your mind when you're doing a reading. Like, I feel like the more music we know, the more access we have to let music come into the reading. Does that make sense?
Yeah, music comes through our intuition, just like our readings do, just like the messages that we get from source, or however we want to conceptualize that. The point is, when intuition opens up, the lyrics can come through, the music can come through, and they can create a most beautiful stew together.
It's so true. And actually, someone who was at StaarCon 2022, Claire C. Claire, thanks for being a member, was in the room, and loved your Beatles workshop.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire.
Yeah, it was great. Any other decks you want to share with us today?
I have to say, those are the only two that I have music themed.
So, what say we do some readings? Maybe we could start doing like a 1-card reading for each other, and then we'll open the floor. And there is no guarantee that we're going to get to everyone. There's no guarantee we're going to even take it in order. But if you'd like to get a question in, Frank and I will do some readings as time and conversation allow. I am going to open up my Grateful Dead tarot, because that's probably the one you want to see, I betcha.
Absolutely. Yes. And I would just say, anyone who wants me to pull a card, just let me know whether you want the Beatles, Dylan, or, like I said, the Rhythm and Soul I have available too, as do you as well. But I would just ask, just let me know which deck.
So the Grateful Dead deck is really interesting because it's licensed, but they couldn't mention any songs. So they do really interesting things. The aces are all terrapins. So the terrapin of skulls, for example, would be the ace. Now, you know what? Let me get my suits correct. I haven't worked with this deck in a while. Let me make sure. Okay. Roses is water. We would expect that. Bears is earth. Bolts is fire. And skulls is air. Okay. Frank, do you have a question for me?
What's the universe want me to know?
Okay. A great question.
I like to, when I can't think of anything, and I mean, this is just loose and casual, and I love to just do open readings. It's like, just show me what I'm ready to see. Just keep it. I just like to keep it nice and simple.
Okay, you get strength, which is called the hero in this deck, and the image is from Samson and Delilah, and the bees made honey in the lion's head, and that's what you see going on in that image. So my reading for you right now, Frank, is, you know, actually, I know that you are working on your second book. And I know we're not going to talk about it more than that, But I think this card is about that. Recognizing how long it takes, that it takes time, that it takes patience, and you'll get there. You'll be making money in the lion's head, making honey, something, maybe making money too. It's a good book. This to me says it's going to be worth the time.
Wonderful. Thank you for the message. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I would like the Dylan deck. And there's a question, where did you get the Dylan deck?
I got it as a gift, but I have followed up online, and it is on the Welkin website.
Welkin website.
I think it's just welkintarot.com.
Perfect. Okay, so my question for you, I'll do the same thing. What does the universe want me to know? One card from the Dylan deck, please.
Okay, here we go. And there is the back of the Dylan Tarot.
I love it. I love it so much.
And you get a court card. This is the Outlaw of Rain.
Jack of Hearts. Wow. Okay. I love that song, the Jack of Hearts.
Outlaw of Rain. I think that equates to the Knight of Cups, I imagine. Let me confirm that by digging into the deck here, if you'll bear with me for a moment.
This is required sometimes. Yeah, I just had to do it.
Let me see here. This book is huge. He's got the majors are in the back. Okay, Outlaw. The Outlaw is the king. It's the king.
Yes.
Although here's the associations he makes: smooth talker, a whiner and a diner, a lovable scoundrel, a chameleon, a natural born actor, a gambler, a grifter, a charmer.
What the heck?
a charlatan, a loner, a cipher, a man who, no matter how much time you spend with him, you can never really know. So that's a very enigmatic card, wouldn't you say?
Oh my gosh, what are you going to do with that for me? This is where the extrapolation and interpretation and context becomes very interesting. Go ahead.
Well, here we are. We're on your live stream, and the first thing here is a smooth talker, and you, my friend, are a smooth talker.
That's fair.
You're a very sincere, entertaining talker as well. Now, I don't know about scoundrel, but it does say lovable scoundrel, and I would say you're a lovable scoundrel as well. However, whatever ways you may be a scoundrel, I guess are known only to you. But I will stress the lovable side of that. And I'd also say natural born actor. I think to do this, you kind of have to, in order to be on screen, in order to do this kind of stuff that you do, you have to be a bit of an actor, and you are very good at it, my friend. So I feel like that's your message. I think it's a validation of this thing that you're doing here.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. I was a theater major for one semester. I will say that. And Betty says, sounds very Scorpio, Christiana. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. We have some requests. As I said, we're probably not going to get to all of them, but let's get to as many as we can. Okay. So, Claire C. would like you, Frank, to pull one card from the Beatles deck to let her know what the universe wants her to know.
All right, Claire, let's take a look. What does the universe want Claire to know? All right. Just sharing the back of the deck first.
Nice.
And we get, for Claire, sometime in New York City, war is over. This is one of John Lennon's solo albums. He released it in 1972. What this has to do with tarot, I have not a clue. So I'm going to take a look at the book. Okay. Sometime in New York City. This, just speaking a little bit about John Lennon history, musical history. This is when he was very much in his activist stage. In fact, he almost got deported from the United States because he was doing so much activism. And so I almost wonder if this has something to do with that for you, Claire. Kind of a fiery aspect of fighting for what you want, being an activist.
Claire says, interesting. I am always praying for Gaza and Ukraine. And I know for a fact Claire was out there for No Kings. I mean, I know she's doing the things.
Wow. You know, I can look this up, but that tracks with what my intuition is saying based on what I see here and what I know the themes of this album to be, this album to be, including where it says war is over. If you are advocating for the end of the war over in Gaza, this may be exactly the message that you would need to hear from the universe right now. Continue to live by your principles and continue to be an advocate for the causes that you care about.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Shirley Meador, I will take this one and I'll take it with Rhythm and Soul. But you can help me interpret it, Frank. We're going to do one card. Shirley Meador, may I please ask, do you see Seven's health improving? Seven is an animal. So we're looking for the well-being of the animal. And we have the Seven of Roots. So Roots, what suit is Roots? Remind me, is it?
I believe that's the Earth suit.
That's the Earth suit, right? That's the Earth suit. So that'd be like Seven of Pentacles.
Yep.
So I would look at that and I would say it's a journey. Like things need to be done. And it may take time and it may be ongoing, but it's worth the effort. What would you say here?
I would say absolutely. It could be a slow process, a soul searching, slow process that's going to require time. It's going to require patience, but stick with it. And I think it's going to work out okay, but just be patient with the process.
Okay. Laughing Cap. Any deck. Okay, you choose a deck, Frank. Any deck. What does the universe want me to know?
All right. Let's go. I'll go back to the Dylan. If they don't mind either way. Okay. Let's go with the Dylan. What does the universe? And what's the name again?
The name is sorry. I totally lost it. Who was it?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay.
That's okay.
I just wanted to call them by their name.
Oh, okay. No, got it. Yes. Laughing Cap.
Laughing Cap. Okay, Laughing Cap. Here you go. And we get another 7. In this case, it's the 7 of Rain. Correlates to the 7 of Cups. Big, bold imagery you can see on these cards. And I don't know if you're a Dylan fan, but the song that's on there is Visions of Johanna and Crash on the Levee. Not sure what album that appears on, but I know Visions of Johanna is famously off of Blonde on Blonde.
Definitely. And then Joan Baez referenced it in Diamonds and Rust. Sorry, do your reading.
Nice call. All right, let's see what they have for the keywords here. Yes, visions of Johanna, crash on the levee, down in the flood, and that is certainly a theme of the Seven of Cups, or in this case, the Seven of Rain, is being flooded in water, being kind of in the depths of things. What they associate it with is having visions and fantasies, feeling haunted, reflecting, and meditating. Imagination run wild, having too many choices or too much information. So I feel like, and Christiana, by all means, feel free to chime in on this as well, but I would say the message of this is it's a time to engage in the fantastical and gain clarity.
I love it.
If you feel like you've got too many choices, if you're feeling dissatisfied, either in your life in general or around a specific situation that feels relevant right now, gain greater clarity. Be willing to make firm choices where there might be confusion at this time.
And good imagination, no dark imaginings. Don't let this bring you into a dark thinking. Okay, Smile Soul 20, reading from the Grateful Dead. Tarot, that's me. Here we go. We have the Knight of Bolts. And so you can see it's Smokestack Lightning is the song reference. So for you, Smile Soul 20, I would say this is a sign that you are moving forward and moving toward the things you really want. Okay. AM, Beatles deck, it's on you, Frank. What does the universe want me to know for AM?
AM. Okay, AM. And this is a card we all know. It is the Empress. It is the Empress. I like the image here. They choose signs from their recording of All You Need Is Love on the One World podcast simulcast. It was the first huge live simulcast that went out to like 26 countries or something like that back in the summer of 1967. And it's very much a message of love. And that is consistent with the Empress as well. It's time to embrace all of the feels, all of the good things in life, including whatever lights up your heart and makes you feel most loved.
Beautiful.
And that is, that is reinforced by all the fantastical imagery we get of the Beatles up there.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Shirley Meador says, thank you for taking my question. 7 is a horse. So we did a reading for a horse. And Heather Roberts pointed out something that neither you and I picked up on. Neither of us picked up on it. The animal's name is 7, and we got a 7 card for 7.
Wow.
So I think that's got to be a good sign.
No kidding.
Sure.
I can't believe we didn't pick up on that.
Neither of us. So thank you, Heather. Okay. So we don't have time to get to everyone. As I said, I'm picking out a few people, and Marion will kill us if we don't get to her. So we're going to do Marion K. Tarot, Marion Kirk. Seeing as I have an actual composer-conductor in my life now, as a potential romantic interest, can I get a card about things between us, Dylan or dead, please? Which, Dylan or dead?
I'm happy to pull a Dylan.
Okay, pull a Dylan for Marion, and what's going on between her and her composer-conductor?
Call me crazy, but what if we each picked one for
her
and one for her conductor friend?
Oh, there it is. You do Marion, I'll do the conductor.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll put them together. Ooh. I got the conductor, and he is into you, Marion. We have the terrapin of bolts, which is the ace of wands. So we know how he's feeling about you right now. He is into you. What do you got?
Uh-oh. So, Marion, I got for you the Four of Coins. The Four of Coins that corresponds to the Four of Pentacles, might be somebody who's withholding a bit. The themes here are Ballad of a Thin Man. That's the one about something's happening here, but you don't know what it is. Do you, Mr. Jones? It's that song. And also Lonesome Hobo. So it's just this idea that you might be holding something back here a little bit. There might be a lot of potential there, but you might be concerned with issues around maybe money or security. But there are some issues that could be forcing you to withhold or hold back a little bit. And maybe it's because you're just getting to know each other and, you're still figuring things out yet.
But he's ready to go. Sorry. Just some feedback from Laughing Cap. Favorite Dylan song and very accurate. So isn't it interesting when like your favorite song comes up in the tarot reading? That is so cool. All right. Let's see. I am... Okay, Medium That Rocks. I think you met Kim at StaarCon, probably the 2 years she was there. And Absolutely. We expect, as I said, we expect to see her in your seat on this live stream one day soon. Medium That Rocks, thanks for being a member. Am I correct to assume that since the universe... Oh, this is you. This is going to be the Dylan Tarot, so get ready. Shuffle Dylan. Medium That Rocks. Am I correct to assume that since the universe is not responding to my efforts to confirm employment, that I should sit back and just continue working for myself? Should she get a day job? Like, the Grateful Dead said, keep your day job till your night job pays. Should she get a day job, or should she just be working as the medium that rocks?
It looks to me like you got a depends card here. Justice card. And what immediately comes up for me is this idea that if you're willing to work for it, if you put in the time, if you make smart decisions, if you're discerning about what you're doing going forward, it will ultimately pay off for you. But I would also encourage you to be really honest about whether you want to do all those things, because not everybody who does this stuff that we do wants to market themselves, wants to handle the money, wants to do the social media. There's all the things that we have to do. So I would just encourage you to be clear about what it is you want, and consider even writing down what you believe you need to do realistically in order to get those things. And if you do, I believe justice will say that justice will be done. In other words, you will be rewarded if you do the right things, if your heart's in the right place, if you put in the effort. And if you don't, then justice will go the other way for you as well.
Perfect. So I would like us to go a little bit late because I would like us to do 2 more readings. I would like you to do Barbie Bird with the Dylan deck, and then I'm going to do Sprite PNG with the Grateful Dead deck, and then we're going to call it a night. And for those of you who we didn't get to, be sad about it and tell me you're sad about it, and I'll invite Frank back on, right? We all want to see Frank here again, right? And Frank, you would come on again, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Of course you would. Okay, so you're going to do Barbie Bird, and then we're going to close up with Sprite PNG. Here's the question with the Dylan deck. Formalizing the question, this is about the Deuterang. What do I need to know about Dave being on my mind and wanting to reach out? And just know the backstory. We've been telling her for a long time not to reach out.
Okay, so for the first time since we've been on this simulcast here, I got a jumper. So I got to honor the jumper. Allow me to pick it up. I can see its face is up. It is showing me what it is.
Okay. You're so good, Frank.
And we get the
Oh.
Emperor. The
Ooh.
Emperor.
So he's blocked, but she wanted to unblock him today. What do you think?
It depends on if she's willing to put up with the man that he is. You know, I mean, the Emperor is a very kind of a masculine card. It's very headstrong. It's very, it's not likely to change its stripes or change its ways for you. So if you are willing to accept him for the person that he is, I would say go ahead and go for it. But if you're hoping to change them, you may reconsider. That's kind of that's the vibe I'm getting from the Emperor here.
That's beautiful, and I love it. I love it. Okay, final reading. And again, to those we did not get to, I apologize. We love you. It's the best we can do, but we will come back. Oh, and Medium that rocks about that says, I like how that card shows different men, like who is he really? Okay, here we go. From the Grateful Dead deck for Sprite PNG, I wouldn't mind a card from the Grateful Dead Tarot. I want to know how to use my artistic talents to earn a living because I don't like doing commissions and I don't want to work corporate. So the best way, I'm going to do one card. The best way to use your creativity to make a living is... Okay. It is the 7 of bolts, a lot of bolts here. So here we are sitting on a fence with the monkey wrench, right? That's like the 7 of wands. So the idea, Sprite, is anything for a buck. Like if you want to use your creativity and you want to get stuff out there, then make a bunch of stuff and get it out there. Whatever you feel like making, make it and get it out there. And it's basically, you have to do a bunch of things and don't worry about what other people are going to think. I know that sounds crazy, but just do the things that come from your heart and get them out there. And I will tell you, okay, this is what this reminds me of. My very first business card, coming right off Dead Tour, I was offering 3 items. Tarot readings, beaded jewelry, and tie-dyed t-shirts. I did all 3. I only do one now professionally. I don't do tie-dye at all. I still bead, or I bead again. But the point is, put it out there and see what goes best, and then you lean into that. That's what I would do with that. All right. My friends, I want to thank you all so much for being here. I'm sorry we didn't get to do a reading for everyone, but I enjoyed this conversation so much, Frank. I hope you did too, and I hope everyone listening did. According to the comments, everyone listening did. So, Frank, would you just tell us your website one more time?
Thank you again, Christiana, so much for having me here, and thank you everybody for coming on and for giving me such a warm welcome and for all your questions and comments. My website is Tarot Awakenings, plural, tarotawakenings.com.
Perfect. And I think the message here is that music is all around us. You don't have to be a great musician to enjoy music and know a lot of music. And music and tarot naturally go together because they both are art. They both tell a story. And they both speak to our souls, and they both hook into the intuition. Can you think of any other reasons that we could say music and tarot go together?
You cover them extremely well. I would just say they're both magic.
Indeed, indeed. So we'll do this again, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm available for readings. I think Frank is too. Reach out. I will be back Friday with your Friday weekly wrap-up. And Frank, can't wait to see you again. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
Christiana.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, everyone. Bye-bye.